Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we got Mugshot Monday, man. I'm bringing it to you live. What's good with everybody? Before we get started, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Got a pretty interesting one for you guys today. So there's been a lot of things going on, and I got a good story for you. So So, um, MGM Grand. Let's talk about MGM Grand. Um, there has been a shooting at MGM Grand, a fatal shooting about 15 hours ago. So I'm gonna explain what happened on that case, and we're gonna break it down. Thank you guys for joining me on this Monday. So let's get down to business. Police shot and killed a 48-year-old man who had been seen acting aggressively at Springfield's MGM casino and later fired at officers outside of the casino, according to police who are investigating the deadly officer-involved shooting. Around 2 a.m. on Saturday, members of both Massachusetts State Police Gaming Enforcement Unit and Springfield Police Department assigned to the gambling unit responded to reports of a man acting aggressively. Pretty wild. They ended up killing him. There's a bunch of different cases that I'm going to go over today. Holyoke Mall shooting suspect Kenneth Rodriguez Santana doing court on Monday. There's a lot of different cases we're going to go over, but let me see. Let's get this one finished up. So, all right. They responded to reports of a man acting aggressive and he possibly armed with a firearm within MGM Casino. The Hampton DA said in a statement, police tried to find the man as he was leaving the casino and headed in the direction of Main Street and Union Street in downtown Springfield. Officers chased the man. During the pursuit, shots were fired and an exchange between an individual and responding officers. The Hampton DA's office said the individual was struck during the exchange, and as a result, in the officers requesting an ambulance and rendering medical aid. The individual was transported to Bayside Medical Center in Springfield, where he later passed away. The fatal officer-involved shooting is being investigated by Hampton DA's office, the Massachusetts State Police, and the detectives unit assigned to Hampton's DA's office. And in conjunction with Springfield Police Department Detective Bureau. The review will consist of an assembling unavailable evidence such as body cams, camera footage, public, private recordings, witness statements, investigation, 911 calls, dispatch logs, etc. The investigation will rely nationally recognized best practices in conducting a partial, transparent investigation What's good, everybody? I'm back. Mobland, what's good with you, man? Yankees for life, how are you? Mobland, what's good? Big Boy Blue, how are you? Shout out to everyone who takes the time to come and watch my show. A lot of people out there running their dick suckers, but it's okay. Let them keep talking. But we got more stories to go over. Let's get it popping. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. There's a lot of things going on in the news, and we're going to go over them here on Mugshot Monday. And remember, don't get fucking locked up, because your ass might end up on Mugshot Monday. And I don't give a fuck. I will put you on here for all to see. So, we got some cases. Let's go over this one. Former NFL star player arrested for strangling son's boyfriend. Craziness. Now, let's get to this case. Big Boy Blue, how have you been, man? How is it out there in Cali with the rain and all that? Snowing out in Compton, I guess. Pretty insane. So, this is the man in question. Former NFL star was arrested early Tuesday morning for allegedly assaulting his son's boyfriend outside of his Indiana home. Police responded to a delayed domestic disturbance at the home of retired Indianapolis Colts lineman and former radio host Joe Stanczyk just before midnight on Monday, after a young man called police saying Stanczyk had attacked him earlier that night. Stanczyk was arrested and charged with felony count of strangulation and 2 misdemeanor counts of battery. Pretty wild. So he is having a fucked up week. So Mugshot Monday. We got a bunch more cases to go over. And before we do that, go check this book out right here. You can pre-order it. It's called The Dark Side of Orange County. It's by Christopher Curtis. He's been on my show before. You guys can hear his story. You can pre-order his book now on Barnes & Noble. Go check it out. So go check out this book too, From the Sand Block to the Cell Block. And this guy is a motivational speaker. He helps people. He brings people to the next level, and he helps people out there. How many people out there really help people? Not a lot. You know, a lot of people are out there for themselves. They're not really there for other people. And that's just not the case around here. Ronnie, how are you, man? So, another thing I wanted to do, I want to explain maybe a prison story. So I've been to prison a whole bunch of different times in Connecticut, and I can explain what it's like to go through things in Connecticut prison. And it sucks. Some of the worst prisons I've been to in Connecticut are Hartford Correctional, Little Cheshire, Big Cheshire, Summers. Summers was a bad one. But there's a lot of different prisons in Connecticut that are not great. And one of the ones that really stand out to me is Summers. I remember going there. They call it Osborne. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of Osborne. And we're going to talk about it a little bit and what it was like when I went there to Osborne Correctional Facility. Now, Osborne is half kind of like county jail, and the other half is people who are sentenced. So you'll have in different blocks, you'll have people who are sentenced and people who are not. It's all, they don't mix the people though, but you know, when you're in there and say you're working for the laundry department or something like that, you will be able to go and see all these people in different blocks, and you can walk around, you can do things. That's if you have a job, because if you don't, your ass is going to be staying in a cell, and it's pretty tight in those cells. Honestly, when I first went there, it felt like the walls were closing in on me. I'm going to show you what their cells look like. I believe this is one in Hartford Correctional Center. This is what Osborne looks like. It goes up, I think, 4 tiers high. I think some of them go up 5 tiers. But this is looking down. You know, they needed a photo op there. Hey, Bruno, how are you, my friend? Thank you for joining me, man. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys are all having a great day. I'm here to explain some of these prisons I've been to. So let me give you a little context of why I even made it to this jail cell right here. So I was in rehab at the time. I was on probation. I had 3 years suspended, 3 years probation. I was catching dirty urines constantly. I was trying to avoid giving clean urines. I was constantly, if you guys know, you know, if you struggle with drug addiction, then you know what it's like to be on probation and try to like sneak around the system. I was doing it constantly. I was never sober back then, trying to do the right thing. They never could get me to conform in line, if that makes any sense. So I was like, fuck you, I'll do what I want. And that didn't work out too good for me, because the probation officer told me, I'm giving you no more chances. This is it. Go to rehab and I will not violate you. So I tell her, okay, I'll go. And I didn't really want to get sober then. I wanted to get out of trouble. I wanted to be able to do my own thing. I didn't care about doing the right thing back then. So what happened was, she tells me to go to rehab, so I agree. I go to rehab. I'm in a 30-day program. I'm there for about 28 days, and this is crazy. So I'm inside the program, and I'm sniffing pills in the rehab, right? They knock on the door. It's the main person, the counselor, who's like in charge of different people. So he calls me to the office, tells me I got to talk to you in the office. I'm like, all right. So I go down there. What's good, Bob? How are you? Thank you for joining me today, man. So I go down to the office and I sit down. Shout out to that counselor. He was a great guy. But he tells me, we're going to violate you. So they ended up violating my probation, right? I had 3 years suspended. So I was like, fuck it. I went to my room. I packed my bags and I left. And I made a phone call. I had a phone inside the rehab and I was on it all the time. I was contacting with a girl I was seeing at the time. And so I told her to come get me. So she pulls up to the rehab and I jump in the car and we take off. Where's the first place we go? Package store. We go to the liquor store. First place we go to the liquor store. Bad idea. Bad idea. So we go to the package store, which is a liquor store in Connecticut. They call them package stores out here. And we go there. I start drinking right away. And that is a bad idea for me. So I started drinking. The night gets crazy, right? I'll get to that another time. So I end up waking up the next morning to the police. get up. And I'm like, what? And the police tell me, stand up, put your hands behind your back. And they bring me out, right? And they bring me to Osborne, which is this place right here. They bring me to Osborne on, I believe, the 5th tier or the 3rd tier. I was on the 3rd floor. So I get arrested. They bring me to the police department. Now, I had a warrant for violation of probation. Now, how this works is I had a warrant out of the town where I'm from, Bristol, Connecticut. And I got in trouble in another town in Connecticut, somewhere near Middletown. So what happened was I go to court in Middletown. They say, you're here for violation of probation. Bam. And they send me to Osborne. So they, you get handcuffed in the back and all that stuff. They send you to, it's kind of like a hub. I would call it a hub, like a transportation hub. Especially Middletown is a lot of cells around the police department or the courthouse and all that. So where they keep all the inmates and things. So around this time, when this happened, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the man who killed the girl in Middletown, Connecticut at the library. He went to the school with her. And he ended up killing her. And he was in the same transport vehicle as me on the way to jail. I'll show you a picture of him if I can find it. I think this is him right here. Yep, got him. So he was in there, and he's inside it's called an ice cream truck when they put you in a truck before they bring you to jail. So it's the vehicle that transports you from court to jail. And this guy was in the vehicle, and he was scared. He was asking questions. What's going to happen when I go there? Are they going to hurt me? He was terrified to go to jail, but he ended up killing a Wesleyan student. He shot her inside the library, I believe. And so what we eventually knew what he was in there for when we were at court, and they were torturing this guy. They're like, listen, people who have crimes against women like that, especially like that, they don't like that type of stuff. So this guy, he was terrified to go to prison. And we made sure that he felt like he was going to die when he went there. So let me read his case a little bit so you guys can get a little context on what went on here. Middletown, Connecticut. The man wanted for shooting a student in cold blood near Wesleyan University in custody tonight. 29-year-old Stephen Morgan turned himself in at approximately 10 p.m. Morgan turned himself in at Cumberland Farms convenience store in Meriden, Connecticut. This came not long after his family made a televised plea for him to surrender. 2 years ago, victim Joanna Justin Jinch was in 6-week summer program at NYU with Morgan. The two lived in the same building. Starting on July 10, 2007, she reported getting dozens of harassing, threatening calls and emails from him, including one message that read, "You're going to have a lot more problems down the road." On July 17th, she filed a complaint on July 24th The case was closed because she did not want to pursue prosecution. However, police said Morgan never let it go. Then on Wednesday, as armed Morgan put a wig and went to the bookstore at Wesleyan, where Justin Jinch worked in a cafe, he shot her repeatedly, then ditched the gun and the disguise. Published reports said on Thursday that Morgan stayed near the scene and was interviewed by police who let him leave. Crazy. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, this guy right here, no joke, man. This guy was obsessed with this woman. And let me explain what happened. Dude, remember driving from work that day and Cumbie's was surrounded by police? That was crazy. Oh, you remember that? Yeah, I remember that day because I was in lockup and they brung this guy into the ice cream truck and he was sitting next to me, man. And he was scared. He was terrified to go to prison. And we were really ramping up his anxiety too. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's a fun thing to do when you're in there and you know that you're not going to be in there forever. I had 3 years suspended. So I was like, what's the worst they can do? So what we did was we were like, they're going to hurt you in there, man. Like, I would be scared if I was going there and I was you. We were saying things like that to him. So it says, published reports on Thursday that Morgan stayed near the scene. He was interviewed by police. Evidence suggests Morgan may be focused on the Wesleyan Community Campus as well as the Jewish Community Center. Middletown Police Chief Lynn Boldini said early Thursday. The synagogue was shut down. As far as moving forward, the students are anxious to know when this lockdown. Really, we're here to reinforce that they should stay where they are. The Wesleyan University campus looks like a ghost town today as a boosted police force continued to comb the area, making numerous stops. I think it's fear. I think it's sorrow. I think it's not knowing how to deal with things, student Ben Karen said. Morgan's family in Massachusetts said he was not anti-Semitic. His sister made a public plea this afternoon. Steve, turn yourself in right now to any law enforcement agency wherever you are. Avoid any further bloodshed. That was coming from Diana Morgan, his sister. So there you have it. That's the guy that I was with when I went to prison. I think that was one of the last times I ever went. Montauk, how are you, man? So I got a lot of different things. I'm going to be dropping a show about the Chin Gigante. You guys aren't going to want to miss that one. I got some inside information about some other mobsters that you guys might like from New York, from the Gambino family, from the Genovese family. I got some from the Lucchese family. I got some stories coming out of the Chicago outfit. Some surprising turn of events just happened. So I'm going to be dropping those shows. And tonight I will be live. I'm going to be bringing a guest with me. So stay tuned. It's going to get real. I'll stay on with you guys for a little while longer. I got some pretty big things for the future. And I'm just glad that you guys are here for the ride because I'm just getting started. And if you guys want to help this channel out, you guys can donate towards Cash App is Bill Staxx 2021. Or you can sign up for the members only. I have full interviews Members only. You can watch the whole interview right now, or you can watch clips until I put the whole interview out. But I'm going to be dropping a whole lot more interviews for you guys. So the content is just getting started. And I'll do lives. My new time, 10 p.m. every night. Bill Staxx will be live. So if you guys want to come chop it up with me, come check me out. 10 p.m. That's the new time for chatting with Staxx. I think I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 p.m. Don't miss it. And hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Even if you don't like me, hit the dislike button. Write a comment. Tell me why you don't like me. Tell me what you want to see, what kind of content you want to see, and I'll give you the content that I think you want to see. But if you like this type of shit, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And remember, don't be a bitch.